Welcome everybody.
Y'all ready for this?
The Hustle. My name is Steve Aramopoulos, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm Talia.
And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio, you may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Cause y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle. This is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle. Under pressure, never break a fold. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now, welcome to the hustle.
Welcome everybody. We're back on another episode of the Hustle Podcast, and today we got a very special guest from TO on Ottawa, Ontario. I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna get down to it. We got Tom Vujcic of Real Wolf Productions. Did I pronounce that right, my man?
Well, not exactly, but nobody gets it right. The proper pronunciation is Vujcic.
Vujcic.
Yes, but most people just call me Tom Vujcic, and I'm just cool with that because it's kind of the Canadian way.
Tommy V.
Tommy V. You know
Tommy
what I'm
V. I like that one right
saying?
there.
Okay, I like that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you, bro, for sitting down with me on the Hustle Podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man.
You know
This
what
is
I mean?
awesome. I love Montreal, and I love this studio.
Every episode, we anning up. We're always putting in the chips, and we're getting ready for more great stuff to talk to you guys about. Unfortunately, Tech can't be here today. Talia can't be here either. She had something very important to do. Apparently, she had to go picking pumpkins today.
You know what? That is pretty important. You know, for those that might not know, it's near Halloween. So when it's Halloween, you got to get those pumpkins.
Yeah, I couldn't say anything about it. It was very last minute that we set this up, and
No doubt.
I'm not gonna get in the way with the pumpkins, bro.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
And it's also my bad because everything I do seems to be last second. So I apologize, but thank you for still making it happen.
I had to make it happen, bro. I had to make it happen. A lot of stuff I want to talk to you about today. Let's get into, how did you get into, was it filmmaking first or was it hip hop first? And I want to know how Real Wolf Productions came to be.
Well, that's a good question because to answer it, it was filmmaking first. But B, the interesting thing is the hip hop thing kind of happened by accident. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, I went to film school. I always planned to be a director. My goal is to make movies, features. And then I just decided to start, because you're young, you're like in your early 20s. Music videos is a great way to start. And it allows you to also do concepts that could be like short films. So the thing is, I get into the music video game, and one thing leads to another. I kind of start like this Real Wolf thing. What's weird about it is how it's like it started out as a music video company, but it kind of developed its own little cult following.
I was just about to
base.
say that.
You know what I mean?
Sort of, not exactly like it or anything,
Yeah.
but it gives me like a Juggalo feeling. Like there's a fucking fam over there.
Right. So that is kind of interesting too, because we definitely don't consider ourselves as juggalos, but we actually do have a large following in the juggalo community.
Okay.
And that's why I have nothing bad to say about juggalos, because they do show so much love. And several artists that we've worked with, such as Twisted, Lex the Hexmaster, Blaze You Dead Homie, those guys are from that community. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I got love for those guys too, and they're dope MCs, you know?
And as far as, like you said, you started with getting into filmmaking first, and then you gradually moved into music videos, which
Yes.
paved the way to,
Exactly.
I think it was about 8 years ago. I'm not sure exactly
right.
when the first Real Wolf Underworld
Yeah, the
dropped.
Underworld.
The Underworld. That shit was fucking, it took everything by storm, dude. Like,
Big time.
If you were from Canada back then, like if you're from Canada and you saw that back then, it got you on your fucking toes. And it made me say, bro, Canada's in this right now.
Yeah, and that's, dude, I'm really proud of that project, and thank you for, you know, appreciating that. That was a crazy project, because that was also kind of like our first way where we were like, because we also put out albums, and that was sort of the project that took it to that direction. But also what I love about that is it's like a crazy posse cut, but it was like at that time, it was like that real raw underground hip hop, all those artists from their scenes. And yeah, I just love it, man. It's like a cult classic in the underground hip hop scene.
There's two, no?
There is two, yes.
I was looking for a third. I'm like, yo, there's a fucking...
Yo, bro, that question gets asked like all the time by our fans, like all the time. When's Underworld 3? And the whole thing with that is that first off, those projects were very complicated to make happen. It wasn't even so much getting the song to happen. It's filming all these people, You know what I'm saying? Both those projects were filmed in like 10 different cities. You know what I'm saying? So it's a complex project, but the main reason the third one hasn't come out is because I set a goal, which was I only believe in trilogies. So there's only going to be a third one. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to make that one when it's going to be like the most colossal it can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is coming. And trust me, it's going to smash the first two, but it's going to take a bit.
We're going to wait for that, dude. We're going to wait for that.
No doubt.
How difficult was it to film all these different artists? Like going out to get Vinny Paz, going out. Did you film all these by yourselves? Did you have some help out in the city? Like
Yeah, so every single scene was filmed by Real Wolf, like me and my crew. Basically, it was difficult in the sense, it was difficult two ways, because number one, it was like catching everyone on their schedule. But number two was my goal with the project was, yo, get all these dope MCs. But as a director, I want to make every scene visually kind of interesting and dope. So it's like now you're trying to catch these guys, but you're trying to do these like more intricate concepts in sometimes a city that's not your own city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the logistics get a little hard
Yeah,
to
they're crazy,
maneuver.
crazy.
But you got fixers, you got people that can help out.
Big time.
Perfect.
And all these guys, by the point that we did that project, almost everyone on that song, pretty much everyone already was like down with me, and we already kind of knew each other because some of those artists I had already done like 3, 4, 5 videos for them before the Underworld. So that made it a lot easier because it wasn't just like I'm like paying some guys to like do a feature. It was like, no, these are my boys. They did it. I didn't have to pay them. I do videos for them. They do features. It was all love. So it was like, you know, it was just sort of they still helped as well, which was cool.
As far as those artists that we're mentioning, like Tech Nine, Vinny Paz,
Ill Bill,
yeah. There's just so many to name.
Yeah, yes.
And
So yeah, no, that was crazy. And Tech Nine, actually, I gotta shout out my boy Sid Wilson, who's from the metal band Slipknot. He's on the song. He actually got Tech Nine on that, which was amazing because at that point, Tech Nine was like really, really like popping to that next level mainstream. So I want to shout out Sid Wilson for setting that up, and Tech Nine showed love. He's such a humble person for a guy of his caliber. He's so humble and nice and generous. So it was awesome.
which artist was one of the first ones that you started working with that sort of paved the way to start working with everybody else?
Right. Are you talking about like outside of the Underworld, just in general?
In general, like outside of the Underworld,
Like the
let's say
Real
the
Wolf.
first mainstream artist, so to say, that had a following that
Right.
fucked with you.
Right.
And then, you know, that all obviously leads to a little chain reaction.
Big
like, yo,
time.
he's got the cosign over here.
Yes.
So I'm fucking with this guy.
So the first one I could tell you right now is the artist R.A The Rugged Man. Okay, so
Shout out to R.A The
R.A
Rugged,
The Rugged Man. So we did this video, Uncommon Valor, okay, which
So you're the one that did that
I'm
video?
the one that did that.
Holy
okay?
shit,
Yeah,
dude.
the one with the military and the war. You know what I'm saying? So the
Take a swig of the whiskey to calm us. The
Exact-
yellow men in black
shit
pajamas, they
was
trying to
crazy.
harm us.
A classic.
Classic, dude.
And what's interesting about that video, I was still in college and shit. And like, to be honest with you, that video, still looking at it to this day, I'm not really that happy with it, in the sense that, like, I was in college, and here's the main reason I'm not happy with it, is I actually don't like green screen. You feel me?
Everybody, I feel the same
I
way
hate
about the green screen.
The thing is, because this verse was about like the Vietnam jungle, because we live in Canada, it's impossible to recreate that terrain and that landscape.
Yeah.
You need to go to a jungle terrain. So at the time, the only way to do it was green screen. But mix that you're trying to achieve a jungle terrain on green screen. You're also a bunch of young up and coming artists. So you're not like super like, you know, next level. You're still kind of in the early stages. So I look back on it and I'm like, yeah, if I could do it today, I would redo it entirely. First of all, I wouldn't even shoot it in North America. You know what I'm saying? I'd
know
go
what you mean.
fly somewhere to a jungle somewhere and make it extra epic. But at the same time, I can't deny the fact that when that dropped, that's when like it caught attention by a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I meant like me and Real Wolf and shit.
Yeah.
And then that eventually segued to my next project, which was Ill Bill and DJ Muggs. And then from there, it just kind of kept going. D12, that was another big one, D12. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like kind of like after, they were sort of known as the guys affiliated with Eminem, but they're such dope MCs. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're amazing at the end of the day. And that was great projects, too.
Like every artist that you just R.A The Rugged Man, D12. I opened up for these artists as well. Like,
No doubt.
I had a chance to open up for R.A twice.
Right.
So that's like one thing. You get to open up for a dude that like.
Which
I remember
venue was it?
It was at the
Fufon Electric?
No, actually, it was a Fufuna Electrics, one of them, and the other one was at a skate Underworld right next door.
Coincidentally,
Yeah.
I did notice y'all had a venue called
Exactly.
Underworld. I was like, yo, that's cool.
So
I
we
was
did it
like,
at the Underworld.
But yo, that Fufon Electric place is crazy,
3
bro.
floors and shit.
I
different-
fucking
yeah.
do the artwork. Like, when even in Toronto, I tell people about that place. You know what I mean? I'm like, this place is like a trip. You walk in and it's just visually the artwork, the graffiti. It's insane.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So we did R.A The Rugged Man, and you did the work with DJ Muggs.
Yep.
What happened after that?
So basically, then we did this project called Global Domination, which was with Snow Goons. Sick, crazy video. Like, if you watch that video, it was like our goal was to make some like Hollywood-esque action movie thing, but like intentionally make it cheesy and funny, you know, not too serious. And at that point, one of the artists, Sean Strange, who's on the track, shout out Sean Strange, he introduced me to Bizarre from D12. Boom, we do this D12 thing. And actually that led, another interesting thing is that led to my first ever out of country gig, which was Bizarre and Yellow Wolf. And at the time, Yellow Wolf had just gotten signed by Eminem. And this was shot in Atlanta and Detroit. And it was so weird, bro, because I'm like, again, it's like I'm trying to be a movie director. And now out of nowhere, I'm being paid to film a video with Yellow Wolf and Bizarre in Atlanta. I'm like, in Atlanta. I'm like, what the fuck? I never thought I'd be in Atlanta. So that's why, like, that whole thing kind of got me like, maybe I should continue a little longer with this music video thing, because it's like making money, but then traveling to all these epic places, you know?
Well, look, think of all the other people that are really into the hip hop game. Like you said before, you started it off as a filmmaker and everything.
Yes.
But imagine these diehard hip hop fans.
Right.
That could, if they could be in your shoes doing what you're doing right now,
Word.
You'd be like losing their shit, man. That's all I'm saying. Like you're living a life that a lot of people dream they could live right now.
And you know what? I appreciate you saying that, because sometimes you get used to it and you're like, I don't know, is this life really that great? But when someone like you says that, and it's true, it is. I did kind of live a dream, bro. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not even close to done yet. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like I know you just, I think it was last year or something, you wrapped up that movie Priceless.
Yes.
Danny Diablo, Peter Greene.
Yes, absolutely.
How the fuck did that happen?
So the thing is yeah, I got so deep into the music video thing, I had to make sure that I stuck to the film thing still, you know? So I had one movie called Q, which, okay,
I heard about Q from Chino last time. He said it was a comedy, Cupid.
It's
something.
different. You know what it is? Okay, it's a pretty twisted plot. It's like, picture a modern day Cupid, but it's like a little short guy with angel wing tattoos. And it's like, like, let's say there's a girl you love, but she doesn't love you. You pay this guy, he takes a sample of your blood, does some magic potion thing, shoots the girl, and all of a sudden she falls in love with you. So it's almost like as if Cupid is told as a drug dealer. He sells love. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's a pretty, like, it was a weird, it's funny that he called it a comedy, because it's almost like a comedy, thriller, horror, fantasy, romance. It's a bit of everything. And it starred my boy Louis Rankin, who, rest in peace, he was in Belly and Shata's Legend, Ox. So that was like my first one. And then it came to this second one, Priceless. So I was like, yo, I want to do another one, but this time I want to get Peter Greene. Now, the story with Peter Greene is this. This guy is basically been in some of the most iconic films ever made. He was in Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
The Mask.
The Mask, the main villain in The Mask. You know what I'm saying? He's in The Usual Suspects, Training Day.
Blue Streak.
Blue Streak. Yo, like the guy's bit. Yo, and even now, he was in that recent movie, the one about the Biggie murders. Fuck, I forgot the name, but it's
I know what you're talking about,
Johnny
though.
Depp is in it, and Forrest Whitaker, and he was also in this 50 Cent show too. So I mean, the guy is like such an iconic actor, and I worked with him because the thing is this: he's boys with my boy Danny Diablo, who's a hardcore punk legend. And the first time I worked with Peter Greene was on a video called Dead Body Disposal by Necro.
Necro, that was
Yeah.
that got a lot of fucking controversy.
Yeah,
that one.
I know.
We'll get back to that.
That's a whole other thing, you know? But so I knew I had Peter Greene's contact and like, you know, we was cool. So I just wanted to do another short, but this time incorporate a bigger name actor. Because here's the thing about shorts is like, you could make like the craziest short, but the problem, and just in general, this doesn't even apply to shorts. It's kind of the sad thing is that a movie without a known star, whether it's great or not, gets less push.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it was like incorporating the idea that from a marketing standpoint, you want a bigger name star to get more interest and people talking about it, but you still want to tell a great story. And the thing about Peter Greene too, he's a rugged dude. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, he's from New York, but he's down with the hip hop scene. So it's like, it was the best of both worlds. You get a guy who's like Hollywood affiliated, but he's still kind of gangsta in his own way. You know what I mean?
Working with Peter Greene, bro,
Yeah.
that must have been a trip. You know what I mean? Waking up in the morning, going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, if it was me, I'd wake up in the morning, go to the bathroom, rinse my face, look in the mirror and say, Zed's dead, baby. I'm working with the guy that's fucking,
Zed's dead,
from
yo,
fucking Pulp
trust me.
Fiction.
I know.
Was that a little intimidating?
Well, actually, yeah, especially the first time I worked with him, because it's like, for me being a director, if you've worked with, let's say, a Quentin Tarantino, to me, that's like, yo, that's like respect. You know what I'm saying? Because
Next level.
Next level. So, and it's like Peter Greene, and even when I worked with him on Dead Body Disposal, like, he was just like, yo, it's like, this is that guy who was in Pulp Fiction, and now he's in Necro's video, but he's that, I guess, real. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was intimidating the first time, but luckily by the time we did Priceless, you know, I got used to it. But in general, it's in my nature as a director, I'm just ready for any task. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of intimidated. But at the same time, it's like, I feel as a director, you still gotta you gotta keep your eye on the prize and just run the show regardless of the fact. You know what I mean?
And explain a little bit about what Priceless, what the synopsis is on that.
So I'll tell you an interesting story behind Priceless. So that movie was not supposed to be my original movie. My original movie was a totally different script, okay? And we were supposed to film it in Canada because Priceless was filmed in New York. And the thing for me is I got all my connections in Canada. So to me, it's like if I film in Toronto, I could get like the red cam. I could get a huge crew. I got links to like 1 million locations.
Yeah.
If I go to a city that's not my own city, it's a lot harder. You know what I mean?
A little more of this.
A little more of that because I don't have as much people that I could call a favor. And the thing is, I planned this whole other movie only to find out that Danny Diablo now can't get into Canada. You know what I mean? Because he's been in Canada before. But even more importantly is Peter Greene couldn't get into Canada. Both Peter and Danny have like charges.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, like, yo, trust me, like Peter, surprisingly, the guy's got like a crazy history like that. So neither of them can get into Canada. So we had to basically construct a whole new concept like within like a month before shooting, just so we can shoot in New York and make it more cost effective. So basically what we decided is we're just going to make it like the classic tale of like selling your soul to the devil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in this case, it's Danny's a big time drug dealer and he gets an offer. He's trying to pick up some product and what's it called? Peter Greene's also a drug dealer, but like a kingpin, but only to reveal that he's actually the devil. And I'm not going to give too much away, but you know, it's kind of like crime, but it's kind of supernatural horror. But the one thing I will say was the other reason I love this concept was because Peter Greene always plays a villain. He's one of those actors.
He's a character. It's a character actor. Always plays a villain.
Always plays a villain. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he kills it as a villain. So I told Peter, I'm like, listen, bro, you're always playing the villain. I'm like, this time you might as well play the ultimate villain, the devil. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you've never done that. And he was like, okay. And then he actually references to me a movie from like 1948. I actually can't remember, Wings of an Angel or something. Paul Mooney was in it. I can't remember the name, but I was like, wow, you have an extensive film knowledge. I was pretty impressed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I heard it did really, really well on the film festival circuit.
Yeah,
Won
it
some
did.
awards.
Yeah.
The script. Who did you guys like rewrite the script on your own, or was it like a collaborative effort with Danny? Or
Yeah, so I had a script writer that I was working with. Basically, we already wrote the first script together, and then when we had to change and write a new one, we rewrote a new one. Like he's the main script writer, but we obviously collaborated ideas. And Danny, what I love about Danny, that guy's just down for whatever. He is like the realest dude, bro. And he's just like, tell me what it is, I'm there. But it worked out because the first script, Danny had a small role. And this new one, he's like the main guy. It just worked out that way, you know?
I'm curious, what was the original script supposed to be? What was the difference between the original and
Oh, there was a huge difference. The original was about like it was like a serial killer, hitchhiker, crazy road movie thriller.
Okay.
And it was significantly more complicated.
I could definitely see Peter Greene as a fucking
He was a
crazy
serial
hitch-
killer. He was a serial one way or another, he was playing a villain. You know what I'm saying? He was not playing a good guy. So yeah, he was going to be originally a serial killer. It was going to take place on the road, and it had like many locations, many extras, many stars. So we went from a thing with like maybe 10 actors and like 6 locations to just like 2 actors. But what I liked about it was, as a director, I was like, you know what? I'm just bringing it back to its roots, which is almost like theater acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just Danny and Peter is sharing these scenes. It was more focused on the script and the acting, and I felt it's more Tarantino-esque. The first script, I would say, was more Alfred Hitchcock-esque in the sense that it's kind of like a thriller, you know, crazy shit like that.
Psycho
Style, you know what I mean? Vertigo, all that. But this new one would be more like a Tarantino thing in the sense that it's very dialogue-based.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, exactly.
Full one location style, minimal.
Yes,
Yeah,
precisely.
Cool. What's next in the pipeline for film work?
So basically, the big project is my first feature film. Okay, so my first feature film, Real Wolf's first feature, is going to be a documentary, and it's going to be about the legend Kool G Rap. Okay, so we've already been working on this movie. We have Alicia Keys in the movie. We have Big Daddy Kane. We have Onyx. We have Smith & Wesson. We got so many names and so many more names that I had planned to interview. I'm not going to say them now, but let's just say like these are some heavyweight A-list names. Problem is the pandemic happened, the corona and all that. So that right now has delayed the movie by a couple of years because traveling has become a lot more difficult and all that. But yes, the next film on the agenda is the story of Kool G Rap, which is a story I think needs to be told.
You're jumping on that thing, like it's gonna be next level documentary.
Next level.
It's never been told yet.
Never.
How did that come to be? Did you hit up Kool G? Did Kool G hit you up? Like, how did that come?
So the thing is, by that point, I had already known and worked with Kool G Rap for like probably 5 years. Okay, because he was in the Underworld too. He was actually on that posse cut. But he's done several other songs for Real Wolf. So we've already done tons of stuff. And actually was introduced to him by Necro because we were supposed to do a video for their project called The Godfathers. So I had known G-Rap for years and there was a mutual respect. And I'll tell you the story that I actually decided to do it was he did a show in Toronto. And it was actually his first show in Toronto ever, apparently. Excuse me. I didn't know that. I was like, really? So we're chilling there and we're talking like, yeah, we got to do another collaboration. But like I told G-Rap, I'm like, listen, whatever we do next, I'm like, it has to be something else. But I wasn't sure what yet. I'm like, it has to be something special because this is Kool G Rap. To me, he's my favorite rapper of all time, but he's just the illest. And then one day it just dawns on me. I'm like, yo, how come no one's ever done a documentary about him? And I asked him, and I said, yo, would you be cool with me doing it? And he told me, he's like, listen, I've been wanting to do this movie for years. And he goes, as a matter of fact, I would love to do it with you because me and you know each other. I don't want to do it with someone that I don't really know that well because he also wants to be a part of it too. You know, it's his life story. And he told me, he's like, there's a reason it hasn't been told. Because he goes, I don't want it. I want it to be done right. And I was like, wow. So I'm like, give me that chance. And since that moment, I have been working on it and he's been involved heavily. He's always in the loop. We're talking even to this day, even though we haven't been able to shoot as much because of the pandemic, Me and him still talk. We're editing the movie. It's constantly in motion. But this is such an important story, in my opinion, for hip hop and music altogether, that I also don't want to just rush it just to be like, here's the movie. I want this to be just an excellent, excellent execution.
I was watching a recent clip of Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about Kool G Rap.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
I think they mentioned something like, "How come nobody's made a documentary?" about
Yes,
it?"
I
And
know.
I thought of you right away. I'm
Wow.
like,
I didn't, you know what? That's crazy. I remember Joe Rogan was saying his favorite song was Operation Cock Block or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty crazy. And you know what's, while we were doing this research, we noticed so many people. We were finding clips of Mark Wahlberg saying his favorite rapper is Kool G Rap. We found Drake and 40 talking about Kool G Rap, and Drake's producer said that's his favorite rapper. So it's like you realize how much of an impact this guy has.
Me and my crew back in the day,
Yeah.
we actually have a hook from Kool G Rap. We got we hit him up, asked for a feature.
Right.
So we got a hook from Kool G Rap also, bro. That guy's a legend.
Yeah,
And
you know
that's-
what? Actually, Chino mentioned that
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me. That's right. He did say that. Yo, I gotta hear that joint.
Yeah, I think it might be on the phone. We can hear.
Yeah,
it
we're
later.
gonna hear that. Yeah. Sick.
So
Sick.
that's sick, dude. You got to you're working on a project with one of the godfathers of fucking hip hop.
Yeah.
So many people that are gonna be on this project.
Yeah, and that's why actually one of the goals is like me and G Rap agreed. We're like, yo, we want this to be more than just hip hop artists in it. Like I can tell you right now, we already have some big name actors and comedians that have already attached their name that we were supposed to film last year. But the goal, and there's also some rock artists too. So the goal is we want to show how much G Rap's music has excelled beyond just hip hop, you know? But what's interesting about him too is how many like mainstream artists, like even like Alicia Keys is in the movie, but you think about someone like Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas, they all cite him as one of the greatest. And it's like, wow, that guy's music is so powerful, you know? God bless G-Rap for being just the illest.
Who was the most difficult person to get for that interview? Like either scheduling conflicts.
Yeah,
or,
well, here's the thing, like,
or just being a little too
like out of the
celebrity,
ones,
you know?
yeah, out of the ones we already got, let me think here. You know what? Okay, this is the funny thing about, to answer your question, nobody, because that's the crazy thing about G-Rap is the second his name was mentioned, every person immediately was like, get me in. It was like, that's when I noticed, I was like, wow, G-Rap's that powerful. There was not any hesitation. The only difficult ones I would say are the ones we haven't interviewed yet. And yes, some of those were difficult because of their scheduling. I just don't want to say their names yet until we get them, because I don't want to say their names now, and then if we don't get them, you know what I mean? But they are some major touring musicians that are always on the road. So that's why, you know, it was kind of difficult at that particular, because also it's like this, like when I'm in LA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm there for a week, let's say 2 weeks. I can only get whoever's there while I'm there. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to fit everything into the schedule.
And while I'm there. But when they're touring here, it's a lot easier because then it's like you're in my city. So now I'm like, okay, yo, you're coming to Toronto next week. You want to do this interview quick before your show? You know, it works out that way.
Okay. And as far as completion,
Yeah.
what do you estimate you're at, like, for this documentary?
Well, put it this way. I feel like, okay, editing wise, we're definitely in it like maybe 30% only. But as for interview wise, it's like this. I believe 2022, because now it's like last year was a total write off. Okay. Completely forget about it.
Got
You
to
couldn't-
cancel that one.
Yeah, complete write off. Okay. So this year, I would say it wasn't until even just the last couple months that it's kind of becoming okay to travel and do all this shit. You know what I mean? But I would say 2022, we can get back on the road and finish the last interviews, because there's some key interviews also you got to remember too, like G-Rap's family too. It's not just about the big name rappers, right? There's certain people that have a personal relationship with him.
Can't make it all business.
Yeah, you can't make it all just like, oh, we have this big rapper. No, you also want to tell his story. So it's like someone in his immediate family is going to have stories that, you know, like Onyx won't or whatever, you know?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like, I'm excited here. I'm excited for this fucking thing
Thank
to
you,
drop.
yo.
I got
Thank
to see the trailer.
Yeah, Chino told
Chino
me.
showed us. I
Yeah.
don't know if he was supposed to do that, but he showed it.
And I hope he showed you the most recent one because we've had like 10 so far. And I'll show you the most recent one just
right.
to make sure because I don't know which one
Yeah,
Chino
that
showed.
shit, like, we were all huddled up watching it over his shoulder, and we are like, holy fuck, this shit's gonna rock the fucking people when it comes out.
Sick.
And I'm already anticipating that maybe, bro, maybe Netflix is gonna reach out. They're gonna be like,
You
yeah,
know
we
what?
want to put this on the streaming service.
You know what? I do have a good link right now. A big businessman in LA that I've worked with before who's got the plug to Netflix and he's definitely interested. So, if everything goes well, I think that's a possibility.
Dude, it's a hip hop legend. The stuff that you see on Netflix too, like nowadays, it's like you find stuff that, like, why is this even on
Yeah,
Netflix?
I know.
If I don't see that on Netflix, I'm calling up Netflix. Yo, we're throwing hands, bro.
Word up, word up. No doubt, man. Word up.
So we were talking about touring earlier. What was it like? Like, how was your first touring experience?
Right.
Who did you go roll out with? It must have been the Real Wolf crew.
So what's interesting too, that's kind of cool about this Real Wolf thing that we've done is like, I was able to basically do video shooting tours, where it's like I'd go to different cities and line up gigs in different cities.
Okay.
So, that was kind of interesting because it's like, for example, I could go to, like, let's say New York, line up 5-6 videos in New York, maybe like 1 or 2 in New Jersey, and then 3-4 in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? Or if I went in the West Coast, you'd have LA, you'd have like Las Vegas, stuff like that. And then we've been in Europe, Australia, all sorts of things. So, that's in the Real Wolf video shooting kind of thing. My first tour with a musical act was actually nonfiction. You know what I mean? I was actually here at the show here. It was at Foo Fun Electric.
Yeah.
That was interesting too because those guys are touring legends. And they basically called me. They're like, yo, do you know anybody that is down to go on the tour and sell merch? Like, just be our merch guy. And I'm like, yeah, me. Because I'm like, yo, I've never even been across Canada. They're telling me I've never been to BC at that point and all that. And I'm not a merch guy. I'm a video guy. But I still took the job just because I got to travel and just see, like, that whole life. So that was super awesome. And I got to say, Montreal was one of the most poppin' cities.
Yeah, look, we do have a vibrant nightlife and everything. But when did you hit BC, the Rockies? Did you get to see that whole fucking skyline?
It was amazing.
Dude,
It was, yes,
what
I
a
loved
trip,
it.
you know what
I
I mean?
loved it. It was beautiful.
And to have one spectrum and then the other, like, driving down, it's...
You know what I got to say? Like, I live in Toronto and, I love Toronto. But, man, like, visually... some of these other cities, it's just like, I don't think a lot of people in Toronto understand, like, the landscape beauty that we don't get to see. It's just unbelievable.
What's the craziest story in the North American leg of that tour?
The craziest story.
Could have been some, like, fucking groupie. Could have been that.
You know what? Here's the thing is that, like, what's it called? The most wildest guy on that tour was probably me because, those guys are all older and more mature. They've already been in the touring game for over 20 years. So to them, it was just like, this is business. You know what I mean? But I was kind of like, I was probably the more wild, craziest one. But at the same time, I had to keep it professional. Because I did talk to DJ Eclipse. I was like, listen, Eclipse. I'm like, I know on that tour it was a little wild. But, it's because I was young. I was in my 20s. I don't remember. I was in my 20s. And also in every one of those cities, I had a lot of friends and, like, people that I knew and stuff. So it was just really just a lot of chilling, connecting, stuff like that.
But that didn't burn your bridge for future tours or anything? They're like,
no.
Next time, keep it straight business. That's it.
Yeah. No, not at all. Well, you know what the thing is? That was kind of the only time I really was a merch guy in general. It's not really my thing. It was just more of an experience.
Yeah.
But no, because I'm constantly, like, touring with the Real Wolf side of things, even though it's a strange term to use because we're really just working, shooting videos. But yeah, it is kind of like touring, and all these guys. Half these guys that I work with, I'll meet them and run into them in, like, multiple cities around the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like we know we're in the same biz, and, like, it's all love.
How do you line that up though? That you keep saying this video tour. Do you like
It was
put out a post or something?
Yeah, it was just kind of like, you know what it is this like hip hop, underground hip hop scene. It really is like a community, and it's an international community due to the internet. So it would be all sorts of things. For example, it's like in New York, let's say I got like the endless connections in New York. Then you got in LA, shout out to like Kevin Zinger and Regime Management. You know, I would hit them up. They would line up certain things. And then let's say in Europe, I had like Snow Goons. You know what I'm saying? My people, Snow Goons. Those guys could get gigs in like Germany, Switzerland. You know what I mean? All these random places that I'm like, wow, I got my boy Resnick in Czech Republic. You know, I got peoples in Australia. So the thing is, even in South America, that's where me and Chino were supposed to go next. But again, the pandemic. So the thing is, I think a lot of it is just, I guess I know a lot of people who know people and people know who need work. And the one thing about Real Wolf too is it's not just like hiring a job, because we kind of have like our own little brand. It's also in many ways they're like collaborating with Real Wolf. So it's like you're paying for a service, but you're also doing a Real Wolf collab.
But I also think the demand is there. Like
The demand is there.
Real Wolf is coming. Like
Exactly.
okay, yeah, let's get the video.
Exactly. And we don't always go to a certain city. Like if we're in Switzerland, we're not there all the time. So a lot of people are like, yo, let's hook up, you know?
Yeah. How was that the European touring and stuff?
Loved it.
What's the experience? So what was the cities like? Which cities did you go to? Which countries?
Yeah. So first of all, the hip hop scene is crazy in Europe, particularly for this style, because right now in North America, the hip hop scene has changed a lot, you know? It's like, you know, like I'm sure, you know, like when you hear today's modern hip hop, which I'm not like knocking all of it, but it is different than like that lyrical. Right now, it's not necessarily always about lyrical, you know, dope bars, all that. In Europe, it's different. They love that, you know? So it's like an artist that, let's say in an American or Canadian city, might draw like, you know, 300-400 people. In a European city, they could draw 1,000. You know, so that was super cool. And also, I'm European. You know, I'm born in Croatia. So it's like, to me, the best thing about a lot of these trips, I got to go visit back home, you know? But I'm also, in general, bro, I'm an explorer. I love just going to different places and seeing their architecture, seeing their culture. I'm so into that. It was just, Europe is just so cool because it's so different than what we see here.
I totally agree with you on the fact that Europe, they see music a little differently. I think it's because they're not caught up yet.
Right.
In a lot of
That's
aspects
true.
of it.
That's true.
That was before the internet really like fucking exploded.
Yes.
But when I went to Greece around, I think 7-8 years ago, I went with one of the first guests that we had on the podcast, Chris Creed.
Okay.
Pretty well known in Greece when I went back there. And this guy they were doing shows, like you said, thousands of people. Wow. And people want to hear this boom bap, golden era rap. And the thing is, like, he had that element of perfect English since he was born here. Right. And he was moving back and forth in Greece and there. So he had that element that he can entertain a crowd with that American hip hop. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Yeah. How Greece was beautiful?
Greece was beautiful, dude. It was beautiful.
Wow.
But I think I've noticed, like, over the years, because everything came like really fast, full circle. It was the golden era boom bap when I was there. I got to perform one show. Wow. I was supposed to do a second show. It didn't go down because I had to leave a little early. Right. So when we were there, I noticed that everything was moving really quickly. And like the year after I left, trap music just fucking
really.
It was like everybody wanted to be Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Like Kanye West.
Right. Yeah.
And if you looked like back on North America, like here it took 10 years, 20 years to gradually get into that area.
Yeah.
This happened like in a year.
Wow, really?
But even that, when you still go to Greece, there was Rusty Jux performed. Rusty Jux was there.
Shout out Rusty Jux.
Rusty Jux performed.
Right.
And I did a collaboration with Rusty as well when I was in Canada a year before that.
Right.
So I happened to be in Greece when Rusty Jux shows up. And he's getting a haircut at the homeboy's house. So I go there to get a haircut as well.
Yeah.
And I walk in. And I tell the guy, go, put on the song or something. Put on our track.
Right.
So I put on, it was a track with me, Block McCloud, Rusty Jux.
Okay.
So the track's playing. Rusty's getting his shave and everything. Man, he just hears himself pop up on the fucking.
No way.
So he's like thinking, like, who the fuck is that? He turns around, he sees me. I'm like,
No.
Like we met one time.
Right,
We met
right,
one
right.
time real quick when we did a show with Block McLeod in Brooklyn.
Okay.
We did a show with Block McLeod in Brooklyn.
Right.
Saw him quick.
Uh-huh.
And then after when I got back, I'm like, I need to get this guy in a verse. So I got him on a verse. It is what it is. Never really spoke to the guy or anything. It was just, I need you on a verse. I want to get your barbarian bars. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I see this guy in Greece. It just goes to show you. And that fucking venue was packed, dude.
It's
It
amazing.
was packed. Rusty put on a fucking show and a half. Machine Gun Skunk, all the classics.
Wow.
And
He's amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm sure he killed that verse he did for you, right?
yeah, he killed the verse.
He's an absolutely amazing MC, you know? And, you know, the first time I met him, he was touring with Sean Price, who rest in peace. But yeah, he was just always just murdered it. And on stage with Sean P, wow, that was such a wicked, like, dynamic.
Yeah. I got to also open up for Sean P twice.
Wow.
Once in Montreal, once in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And just the time in Brooklyn was actually a Helter Skelter show.
Oh,
So
shit.
I got to fucking
Wow.
be the opener for a Helter Skelter show
Oh, that's so dope.
in the mecca of fucking hip hop.
Oh,
You know
my
what I mean?
God,
I'm like, oh,
yeah.
dude. And God rest his soul, that was one of the last shows that Sean P actually did.
Rest in peace.
And we were very lucky to be a part of that. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, because also same, he was on Underworld too. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get a chance to film his scene. That's why he has a little lyric
True.
video.
Has in memory of.
Yeah, because I did speak to him on the phone, and we had a whole scene planned. It was gonna be we were gonna shoot it at like in a hotel. Because I was just thinking logistically. I'm like, I'm gonna have a hotel while I'm in New York. So I talked to him like, what if the scene is like you just busting in the hotel and like robbing some kind of like drug deal gone bad or whatever. I just figured it would be very easy to do while we're there. And he's like, I'm down, and it would have looked badass. And then, unfortunately, he passed before we had a chance to do that. And I'll tell you another interesting story that me and Ill Bill always reminisce on. There's a track from Ill Bill's album. I think it was Ill Bill's. It was either Ill Bill's or Sean Peace. It was a track with Ill Bill and Sean Price. And they wanted to do a video that was almost like a parody of Pulp Fiction. And Sean P was going to be Samuel L. Jackson, and he was going to have a big afro wig, and Ill Bill was going to be John Travolta.
Okay.
And they wanted me to have a cameo as Quentin Tarantino in the movie, the guy in the bathrobe.
Yeah.
That would have been such a dope project, and that's definitely one of the ones that never happened that I always kind of like wish happened, you know?
Yeah. So sometimes you can just wish for things, you know what I mean?
Exactly. The cards didn't align. You know
That's
what I
it.
mean? The stars didn't align.
Exactly. So back to Europe that we were talking about.
Yep.
Which countries did you visit?
So, I mean, obviously I'm born in Croatia, and that, you know, that's obvious on the list, but I've been to Scotland, England, Switzerland, Germany, Hungary, Czech Republic, France, and I think that might be it. Maybe one more that I can't remember right now off the top. Oh, Montenegro.
Yeah, I heard that.
Montenegro was beautiful, beautiful. Montenegro was crazy. Slovenia, and man, I think that might be it. I can't remember. But then in each of these countries, there's multiple cities. So one city's kind of different from the other. But Europe was epic. But there's a lot of places I haven't been, like Greece. That's one of my dream places to go.
I'm telling you, dude, we can make that happen.
We got to go to Greece. I'm telling you, we're going to Greece, bro.
DOV was on the show. And he said,
Portugal. I've been to Portugal too. He's Portuguese, yeah.
and when DOV was here, he's like, dude, when Tom was out in Europe, they were treating him like gold.
Yo, it was
Let me hear these stories, dude. Let me hear some of this pampered lifestyle.
Dude, it was just crazy, man. Like some places I'd be walking down the street, like in Czech Republic, we were walking down the street wearing a Real Wolf shirt, and some guy just comes up to us, this crazy like face tatted guy. You could tell he's a Real Wolf fan when he's got like pure face tattoos and like piercings. But yeah, just showing us love. Switzerland was another one. That place was epic as hell, man, because it's like we went to this one venue because the thing is we're a video company. But in Switzerland, we'd be out there and they're treating us like we're some kind of like rapper celebrities, man. And I was like, damn, they're like real over. And the thing that's trippy for me is that for the most part, I'm behind the camera. I don't even really like being in front of the camera all the time. But when people recognize me, they're like, yo, you're Tom Real. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not even in front of the camera. that's how I know they're fans and they're paying attention. And that's pretty dope to me. That's kind of why, like, we I stayed and built with this hip hop thing, because even though I was supposed to just do movies, when I realized just the love that the hip hop community shows, I was like, yo, I'm feeling this, And I love it. I love hip hop, man. I really do. So
as far as Europe and everything, you said something about South America. Did you get to go anywhere in South America?
No, actually, that's one of the continents I've never been. I've never been to South America or Asia or Africa. But South America is something that Chino was setting up, which was going to be pretty awesome. We had a few gigs and videos lined up in it was Ecuador, Chile, and Colombia.
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting, but we couldn't do it. But I think it's still going to go down. And apparently one of them was a festival that was going to have Havoc from Mobb Deep.
Sick.
Who I've worked with Mobb Deep before. Rest in peace, Prodigy. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to lock that in yet. But to be honest with you, man, since this pandemic, I haven't actually even been anywhere really. Like right now, I'm in Montreal.
Yeah, that's a little
yeah,
close
that's
to
kind of like the furthest I've been, since. But I think it's going to be more of a 2022 thing.
You just gotta wait. You gotta bide
gotta
your
wait.
time, and that's it. It was the year right before the pandemic. We got the chance to go to Colombia.
Really?
We got the chance to go to Colombia. I actually shot a music video down there as well.
How was it?
It was fucking lit, dude.
It was lit.
It was super sick.
So what did you go for exactly?
I went. A friend of mine. He was going there for vacation with mutual friends,
Right.
and he wanted to do a video clip. So he hit me up. He's like, "Dude, you want to cut?"
So he was going on a vacation.
Exactly.
And then he wanted to shoot a video for himself?
For himself. So
Okay,
he
cool.
called me up and he's like, "Do you want to come on this vacation?"
Wow.
I'm like, "Yo, I can't really just like,
Yeah.
I got other things. I like,
Yeah.
I can make a little bit of money if I stay home, basically."
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
Colombia sounds great and everything, but
Right.
there has to be a little incentive over here.
Right.
And I already know I'm just trying to help him out to make this video.
Right.
So he's like, "Yo, okay, I'll pay your plane tickets."
Wow.
I'm like, "Fuck it, you know what? Pay my plane tickets. I'll come to Colombia and we're gonna have a fucking great time."
That's fucking awesome.
So that happens.
Right.
It was all like spur of the moment. It's like a week before this all happened, I get the phone call, and after I ask him, "Okay, what do you want to shoot?" And it's like some basic stuff. He's like, "Yo, we're gonna go to the main square and we're gonna
Right.
I'm gonna rap in front of the building over there." I'm like,
Right.
"Nah, dude, no, we're not doing that. We're going to Colombia. We're gonna do this shit."
Yeah.
So I remember watching something called Dangerous Traveler,
Right.
or something,
Right.
Something on Netflix. It was about the
Yeah, I know those kind of shows. Yeah.
deadly tourism or something. I don't know what it was. So I remember watching it, and there was this episode in Medellin, in Colombia,
yeah.
and they're talking about this dude that looks like Pablo Escobar, dresses like him exactly, has the hair,
No.
drives around in the taxi cab with a big ass fucking
What?
satellite phone.
No way.
So I'm like, we got to get this guy in the video. So I'm on the plane,
Right.
like
Right.
up until the point that we have no Wi-Fi or something. I'm just looking to find this guy, where we can find him.
Right.
I finally find where to find Pablo Escobar.
Right.
We go to an ex-Pablo Escobar stash house in Medellin with converted, called calletas, little places that you can turn the bookcase and you go in the back and there's a stash house.
What?
Yeah. So
Serious?
So we go to this place. It was operating as a museum.
Uh-huh.
And we got to have Pablo Escobar in the shot. We got to have this drug Cessna plane in the background.
What?
And it was like $60, $100.
What?
To do this thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. Are you serious?
So for a filmmaker, you go out to South America, especially I think Colombia might have been one of the cheapest places that I've been
That's
to.
amazing. $60 and you got what, the location and the guy?
It was all included. Basically, he's like you have to go through the whole tour if you want to do
Right.
this. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it.
So it's basically a tour.
It's the tour.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to pay the guy straight up for it. He's like, no, because they want the tour money,
They
right?
want the tour money.
So they think that's like a big fee.
Wow.
I'm doing the calculation. I'm like, dude, it's $60. Let's go.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he killed it, eh?
He killed it. I'll show you a little
Yeah, I
clip
wanna
after
see
you
that.
see it. The
That's
guy
crazy.
was yelling on his satellite phone, "Marica, na, na, na." It was
No way.
Yeah, I was like
no
watching
way.
Narcos. Dude.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
was
That's
amazing.
sick. Yeah, I don't know if the cameras can see that painting, but yo, that is fire right there.
Got Pablo in the back.
Who did that?
It's called Reb Horn Arts. Or
Okay.
whatever, but they do a lot of this type of paintings. And
Wow.
check it out. They got a
Killed
lot
it.
of great
Reb Horn
motivational
Arts.
art. Yeah.
Wow, I like that Jaws or whatever that is, the
No,
shark.
to be a shark, man. It's all motivational. Get your hustle up. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
get your hustle up. Get your hustle up.
That's
For
what it
sure.
is. So we mentioned Europe. We mentioned. Let's talk about the boys a bit. Like, who's
Yes.
part of Real Wolf? I know Swan. I've heard
Yes.
of Swan. I've met Swan.
Yes.
At the shows. And
Okay,
everything.
yeah. And then we got, exactly. Swan's been down for like the longest time, man. Like even like before the Real Wolf Records, we did several projects in the past. Then we got my boy Resin. You got Resin. You have Scene B. So the thing is, Resin also, he's been in the game for a minute too, and then he got down with Real Wolf. Then we got Scene B, who I've known for a long time. He's an OG. He's also part of the crew. Then we got my boy Mercenary, whose album is actually dropping next. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Stacy Brizzle, who's now like one of our chicks that's part of the Wolf Pack. She's dope as hell. She can spit like fire too. Then you got our producer Century Status, who is an integral part. He's more behind the scenes, but he's the one that produced Underworld 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And then the other angle that we take it, and then there was older artists that started when we started Real Wolf. There was a group called Psych Ward, and there was a group called So Sick Social Club. Funny enough, they were the ones that were more juggalo-ish, so that was kind of, I guess, how we got our name out there. And then Psych Ward was kind of the underground hip-hop scene. And then obviously there's other main people that are part of the team: Robbie, Snatch, Suspect. There's a slew, and then there's the video crew. You know what I'm saying? There's my business partner Delaney. You know what I'm saying? You got my boy Amir, who's also a part of the business team. So it's a pretty intricate web, because we got the rappers, you have the producers, then we have the video film team. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's weird. It was like I was chilling with my boy Beast, aka Hank McCoy from Toronto, and he described it to someone. He's like, Real Wolf, it's like an umbrella. I'm like, really? An umbrella? And he's like, yeah, because it's like you got like the music, the video, the film. Also, I'm like, okay, I guess you're right. It's an umbrella.
It's a collective, a syndicate. The fucking.
I like that. I like that. Syndicate. That's dope.
Yeah, definitely. How about you keep mentioning LA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who's the link out there? Like,
well, I have several links out there. So there's Kevin Zinger, who's regime management. Basically, he's the guy who started Subnoise Records.
Okay, Subnoise.
Yeah, and he's the one that put out Cottonmouth Kings and like Head PE and the whole Subnoise clique. And he has a management company. He does a lot of reggae. So he's one link. Then obviously I got my boy Sid Wilson from Slipknot, who's like a major like link of mine that I got loved to death, because he's in this major metal band, but he's so down with like hip hop, underground hip hop, all that. He's just a real hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? So Sid Wilson, I got my boy Chino Excel, got my boy Loki, who's DMS, DMS family, Danny Diablo. Then I got my homie Hoban, aka Below Poverty Level. It's a clothing line. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many more. But yeah, LA is like, I got a lot of people out there, and I absolutely love LA. To be honest with you, bro, I'd go as far as say that LA might be my favorite city ever. Like,
I was gonna ask
seriously,
you that.
ever. Like, in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I got a soft spot for Croatia and, stuff like that. But LA, what I love about it is it's beautiful. I love the weather. I love the look. I love that it's by the ocean, but it's really also the culture. Is the film and music culture is so alive. You know what I mean?
Everybody's a creative down there.
Everybody is a creative. Like in New York, for example, yes, there's a lot of like music culture, but at the same time, there's a lot of like Wall Street culture. There's a lot of this. It's New York. It's very like a ton of different things. LA is such a creative, artistic place, and it's so beautiful. And also the people are very chill there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like such a different vibe, but I really, really love Los Angeles.
Speaking of Los Angeles, have you ever like been to Hollywood? Do you?
Yes, we've shot videos in Hollywood. I have, and it was dope. It was dope, but that's one thing I learned when I went there is like coming from here, you always think about Hollywood and all that, but then when you get there, you realize it's kind of like a touristy sort of area. It's kind of like a Times Square. But me being a film nerd, I still really enjoy it. Like even the cheesiness of Hollywood, just because it's like, that's like Hollywood, man. That shit's back in the 20s, 1910s,
Exactly.
So it's epic. And I do want to go back. I love it there.
From what I I don't know, I've heard this from people that travel to Hollywood. They say the people are super fake. Do you notice that, or?
Well, here's the thing. In my case, because I'm dealing with most of my links are people like in like sort of the hip hop scene and stuff, it's a little different there. But yes, I would go as far as to say that there is a huge percentage of kind of this fake materialistic stuff. And there is a lot of people, like people that I've met. I'm not talking about like people that I deal with in hip hop. There are people that like, you'll just be like, oh, I was at this party with this guy. This guy is like, everybody's just so fixated on like who they know.
That's what I heard.
Very much, yes. And then also just like that whole need for like image and look and stuff. You know, everybody has to look and like have an image no matter where they go, you know. But I'm not going to say everybody. But it's an interesting city. It's a blend of a lot of fake people, but then it's a blend of a lot of like real artists. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of a kooky place, actually, in theory. It's a kooky place, but also when you go to like places like Venice Beach and stuff like that, there's like that whole like kind of laid back surfer kind of mentality too. You know, I kind of enjoy those guys' vibe because those guys are just chill, you know?
Because if you think about it, like Hollywood, the population of Hollywood, probably the majority of the people that live in Hollywood are not originally from Hollywood.
That is so
You know
true.
I mean? Everybody's going out there to make it.
That's the big thing. There's so many people. Yeah, actually, you're so right about that. Even a lot of the people that I know, actually, that live there are not even originally from there. It's like a place that it's like you're right. People go there to like make it. And the reality is it works because here's the thing about Hollywood.
Networking, meeting people, connecting.
Dude, it's like there, like I'll tell you right now firsthand, if you go there for like 3-4 days, like you're going to end up meeting so many people in the business just accidentally. You wouldn't even know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm there for like 1-2 days. I run into Be Real. You know what I mean? At the Rainbow Room. I'm just like, what? It's just like, it just happens because it's just that city, you know? So I do think if somebody were to move to LA and just basically like, it depends what you want to do. Let's say you want to be an actor. If you move to LA and you just do auditions and you just kind of like go to parties and stuff like that, I'm certain within 6 months, you're going to be doing things. Like, I'm not going to say you're going to be a huge superstar, but within 6 months, you'll be doing things.
True.
And whereas if you do it in a city like, you know, somewhere else that doesn't have a strong film industry.
Yeah, you're not going to go to Idaho.
You're not going to go to Idaho. No, that's not going to happen at all, right? So it's like things will happen there if you live there, and I think that's why a lot of people go there. And then they get addicted to it because it's just the weather's so nice, the palm trees. You know, it's like that vibe. Like it feels like you're on vacation every day.
I feel that.
Yeah.
How about you? Is it in the back of your mind? You're moving out there, or?
Dude, it's been on my mind for years. To be honest with you, sometimes I think about it. I'm like, I kind of wish I did that because I wanted to do it for so long. But I think the reason I didn't do it is because I also had so much going on here that it wasn't like a rush. A lot of people that like when they go there, they kind of might start with nothing and go, I'm going to go there. I had so much happening here at the time, and I was even being paid to go to LA so much that I didn't really focus on it. But I will tell you, if I did, I do believe that I would have excelled even further just from being there.
Definitely.
Because that's just how life is sometimes. It's like if you're somewhere, like, you know, whatever that somewhere is, you will lead to more network within that somewhere just from being there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like you got us from Montreal looking at people from Toronto like, you guys got the upper hand on us.
Yeah, and then we're looking at you guys too. Like it's like, but see, even what me and you are doing right now, it's like we're building, we're networking. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just, that's the beautiful thing about the business. The more links and network, the more opportunities that grow.
Like if you come back and you need something done in this city and you need a camera or something, bro, give me a call. I got you.
And the same way, bro. You come to Toronto, whatever, anything. Cameras, locations, our actors, artists, anything. Bro, we make it happen.
So, yeah, back to what we were saying about LA.
Yeah.
You've been thinking about moving. Like, I already know the feeling. Like, let's say you go on vacation for a week.
Right.
And you got the business back home. You're constantly thinking like,
Yes.
you're gone for a week.
Yes.
And you're already thinking of like shit's not running as smooth as it should be because you're not there. Imagine like totally packing up, leaving everything behind, maybe
Yes.
still trying to keep it operational.
Yes.
But dismantling something that you've built up
Exactly.
and moving it over to another location, you don't know what the outcome could be. Like you're definitely gonna get more projects from people
Yes.
in LA, but you don't know what's gonna happen with all those other clients and
Exactly.
everything else you've done.
You're absolutely
So it's
right.
a big gamble. It's a risk.
It is a big gamble. And then actually the other thing that becomes a huge problem in someone like my shoes is it's the country now. It's like a different country. So
Yeah.
it's like, let's say I come to Montreal or you come to Toronto. It's just as much of a sacrifice, but it's a little bit easier. But now entering another country where technically you are not actually a citizen, and there's all those like legal sort of technicalities that come in the way too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Working visas, all that too. Though that then you enter a whole other world. And then the other thing is like when Trump became president, he made that actually even more difficult. There was a lot of like, so it was kind of like, yeah, there's a lot of complications to it. But you're absolutely right, man. Making a sacrifice is a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to still do it, but it's like, it's just like with the Trump thing, that already made it difficult. Now with the Corona thing, it's just like right now, I think we're all still kind of just seeing how the world unfolds.
I think that's really important right now. Like,
Yeah,
we don't
but
know what's gonna happen in the future.
We don't know, but I definitely want to go back, even if it's just vacation, because I love LA, man. California in general.
Have you like you said, yeah, you only came here since that. Do you have any plans of like
Yeah,
traveling or
yeah? I'll tell you a funny story. Actually, we just had a gig. We were about to go on the Griselda tour.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it was across. So basically, there's this artist who was opening on the tour. And basically, we got hired to document his travel and film his sets during this tour. And at the same time, we figured, we're getting hired to do this. We can also snag interviews with Conway and Benny because they love Kool G Rap. Absolutely love Kool G Rap. And what happens is everyone on that tour, like, oh, cool. First of all, there's other complications. You got to be double vaccinated, all this stuff. But then everyone on that tour that we were supposed to share the van, which was this opening artist and his crew, they all caught COVID.
Wow.
And they had to like basically stop. So that was about to happen. And then that got in the way. So then it's like, damn. And now we also had another trip that we had planned in the works, which was actually to Newfoundland, which is in Canada.
Yeah.
But again, certain regulations and complications arise. Then it's like, okay, we got to put that on hold. So I've basically just come to the realization, maybe not make too many concrete plans yet, because even when we've tried now, something happens,
It's out of your control.
It's out
you
of
know
our
what I mean?
control. Exactly.
And we tried to organize a few things recently,
right.
and the same thing happened.
Right.
Like everything's looking like it's going smoothly,
Yes.
and then you get fucked the last minute.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why now with all these, every city has different rules, different things. I haven't even thought about something like Europe or anything like that yet. So it's just sort of, we don't really know. All of this is still so new. But, I definitely will be back out there. But I'm thinking, it's almost the end of the year. Maybe just kick back, enjoy Halloween, enjoy Christmas, and then 2022 get back at it.
I like the way you're thinking on that.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
What have you been watching lately? What's like inspiring you? There has to be some fucking movies that came out.
Oh,
and you're like,
yeah.
dude, this one
Well,
was-"
first of all, did you watch that show Squid Games?
No, I haven't watched Squid Games because I like subtitle shows, this and that, but like Netflix is just giving us too much of that shit. They're giving me the Casa de Papel. They're giving me this. I'm like, dude, give me a fucking English show for once. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'll tell you right now, and that's true. Here's the thing: they do have the dubbed versions, but like I'm very against.
I'm against dub too.
I hate dubs. Okay, like no, man. I do subtitles, but
Narco Diego's not supposed to sound like.
I don't like that. Oh, you're right.
Where's my money?
Yeah, terrible, and it also takes away from the original actor's performance because you have that original actor who might kill it. But now they just hire some next guy to try to like do just a voiceover, but they might fuck with his acting performance. Yeah. But I will say I was super impressed by Squid Games. I couldn't believe how good it was because everyone kept talking about it. I'm like, what is this? And then one day I put it on, and I gotta say, man, because I'm very picky with like, but cinematography, writing, acting, the twists, the turns, it was excellent. You know, and that's my thing right now. Is like like from the North American side of things, this is my beef right now with the movie industry, because I come from a world where I love cinema of all decades and generations. Is right now everything is like 90% either a sequel, a remake, or a comic book movie. You know what I'm saying?
I heard there was this one crazy fucking theory. Like right now that you grab your water. Like exactly like you said, sequels and everything's a remake.
Yeah.
Some crazy conspiracy theorist said,
okay,
this is we're in a glitch and everything's resetting, basically.
We're in the Matrix.
We're in the Matrix.
Yeah, and that's another sequel coming.
So like, yeah, dude, there's like running out of so many original ideas. Everything is a fucking repeat, remakes from movies that shouldn't be remade.
Yep. Exactly. And yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, a really good movie shouldn't be remade. But you know what's interesting? This is what I got to say about all that. You're right. There's no original ideas. It's just pure, just rehashing the same thing. But you know whose fault that is, bro? It's the audience.
Yeah.
Because that's what it really comes down to. If the world was saying, yo, we want some original shit, Hollywood would have to make it, but they don't. It's like everybody just wants sequels and remakes, and they get excited. It's like
that's exactly my point. And I think if we look at it a different way, it's like everybody wants a remake because they're just familiar with that character.
Exactly.
So there's less of an investment, like, because it's more of an investment, because you've known this guy for 30 years.
Yeah.
Fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. You know what I mean? It's a new one coming out. Now, if we come up with this new movie, and we call it Cyborgus or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I put this new dude that is trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's not going to pick up as much steam because there's no.
I know, but you know, it's like
no history behind
it. If you look at like when we were growing up, the '90s, it was like everything was like something new, like Jurassic Park, Independence Day, Men in Black. You know what I mean? I feel like that generation was all into new ideas. At some point, something happened, and people just want the same thing. So I feel like that kind of it kind of sucks, because now it's like a lot of directors. That's the thing, they complain. They'll be like, you know, that's why a lot of directors are going to Netflix, you know, because they're like
more freedom, more creative
nobody's funding these movies. You know what I mean? And that's another thing I like about other countries. For example, like, I mentioned Squid Games, but even aside from Squid Games, the country South Korea, they're killing it in the movie game, because their audience, they want original, fresh, dope movies. So that's why even like that movie Parasite won the Oscar for best film. Great movie. It's amazing.
I'm gonna fucking watch this.
I just remember the movie when I'm like, I never even heard. I'm like, Parasite. I'm like, a movie from South Korea. I watch it. I'm like, yo, this shit is amazing. And it's just like that, you know, even like other countries. You got China, in Europe. It's just like different countries. They're making like certain original new ideas for their audience. But for some reason, like in Hollywood, this is what everyone wants, you know, even in Canada.
It's a safe bet for Hollywood.
It's a safe bet. It's a safe investment.
Like, you know you're going to get your money back. Because like I recently saw Halloween Kills.
Yeah, was that good? I didn't see it.
It was good and it was bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I like the fucking script was so overwritten.
Yeah, over the top.
It felt very theatrical. Like, you have like there's a mob mentality at one point, and everybody's saying, evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on.
Cheesy.
And then you have like the daughters telling the mom, I'm going to find Michael with her friends. They're going to kill Michael with her friends. They're all grabbing up guns and stuff.
Right.
And she gives her like this little speech. She's like, evil dies tonight, Mom. And she's like, he killed my father. He stabbed my grandmother. I'm like, nobody would fucking talk like this.
Nobody would talk. And that's what's so crazy is the original Halloween, that was so like original and new and innovative and fresh, John Carpenter. And like little did he know he was going to spawn a billion like copycat movies. Not even just the sequels of Halloween, but so many of these like slasher guy with a mask.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, we need another original movie, you know, and not just the same thing. So that's the thing. I love all that stuff, but I didn't even really want to rush to see it, because I just know it's all going to just be another rehashed, regurgitated idea. You know?
It's basically the continuation of the last Halloween when Laurie Strode captures him in the basement.
Right.
So it progresses. Apparently, there's one more coming out, and it's going to be the last one. It's called Halloween Ends.
Really?
And because after I
wanna
finished
see that.
Halloween Kills,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, come on, this is just fucking ridiculous at this point. This guy got to be dead, you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. It's about time,
So,
yo.
so right away, usually when I watch a movie, I go and I go on Reddit and I check the reviews. I want to see what the general people are saying about it.
Yes.
And they're like, because I'm like, oh, this shit should be fucking done by now.
Right.
And I read on the Reddit, they're like, there's one more sequel coming out called Halloween Ends.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, so it's the last one. Like, Laurie Strode looks like a fucking old bag right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like 70 years old, fucking white hair.
Yeah.
You can't keep Michael. You can't have Michael chasing her for the rest of her life. You know what I mean? It's got to end at one point.
Yeah. Remember that one back in the day, Halloween H2O?
Yeah. That.
The only
with
thing I
Busta
remember
Rhymes,
about that is fucking it was LL Cool J. He gets his head severed.
No, I think Busta Rhymes was in that too.
Oh,
no?
he was in that?
Yeah, he gives her like he fucking kicks Michael.
Yeah. There's like they just found a way to throw in a rapper. It's like, I just remember someone's head got severed, whether it was Busta or LL Cool J. I was just, for some reason, I got that memory. I don't know why.
There's this documentary series on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen
Which
it.
one?
It's called The Movies That Made Us.
Yes, I love it. I
So
love it.
I think I binged it yesterday or the day before. It was all the Halloween movies. Halloween, Friday
Right.
the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow.
And like you mentioned before, like
Yes. And you know what? I haven't seen. That's the new season.
just came out.
right?
It just came
That's
out a couple
the
days
season
ago.
3. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one. Everyone's telling me about
so
it.
they're
saying
talking
it's
about how
crazy.
Halloween, it cost them $300,000 to make Halloween.
Wow.
They made, I think it was 43 million.
Yeah, and that's just off the first one.
Yeah.
Add this whole
Exactly.
franchise for like since 1979. $1 billion franchise probably.
And how Friday the 13th was even came to fruition.
right.
The studio execs came in and they're like,
Right.
they literally told the script writer, copy Halloween.
Wow.
So the guy is like, I've never written a horror movie before.
No.
So I
way.
I dissected the script and
Right.
I saw the elements. Okay, it's a guy with a mask.
Yes.
Starts
That's a
off-
big part.
Starts off with a childhood trauma.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
the kid dies in the lake. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
So it starts off with a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
The guy comes for revenge. He wears a mask. The music always has to like pop out only when you see this
Right.
this crazy dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they basically followed the whole fucking formula and just created another Michael Myers.
It's true. And when you think about it, what's crazy too is like on Halloween, those masks. I think that's another brilliant thing about having these mask killers. These guys are making money off the masks too.
Exactly.
You know, like the Michael Myers mask, and that's such an iconic mask. I don't know about Jason, since it's just a hockey mask. I don't know if they're actually making loot off that. Probably.
They definitely do make loot
They
off.
do make loot.
The same thing. Like I
Yeah.
think it was like studio. Like it has to have a mask. Why? Because
Right.
we can
Merchandise it.
merchandise it after.
Yeah. It's true.
And with Halloween, when did they just release a new one? October 15th.
Of
2
course.
weeks before Halloween. What do
Yep.
people want to see on Halloween? Something related to the
Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the marketing ploy was perfect.
Brilliant.
Apparently, like they said, it's not true, but they were supposed to name Halloween the babysitter killers.
What?
Or the babysitter murders or something.
Wow.
So like imagine if that was the fucking title. Would you go see that
No,
shit?
I think the title is so catchy.
Exactly.
And it's just like, actually, I did read John Carpenter's book because I love that director too. And I remember him saying something like when the name came up, he was surprised that there was never a movie yet called Halloween because that was back in 1979. But at that point, there was decades of movies. So they were smart for jumping on that title.
Yeah.
It's
It's the same way like as a musician. If you make a Christmas record,
Yes.
you know that shit's gonna get spun every year.
Yes.
If it's a catchy one, if you're Mariah Carey, like
She kills it.
Santa Baby or whatever the
She
fuck.
has like the highest selling Christmas
Exactly.
records, I think, or maybe that Michael Bublé guy now, or something.
One of them,
I don't know.
but-
One of them. It's a brilliant tactic to
Yeah.
think about like seasonal
shit.
Seasonal shit.
Yeah.
Halloween and Christmas would probably be the biggest, but then you also got Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the other biggest because
Well, I think Valentine's Day too, since it was manufactured, it's
Yeah.
not even a real holiday.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like literally, let's get some fucking money today.
Yeah, let's get some money
We're
on
making a
gifts
holiday.
and cards.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, man, it's like the hustle. You know what I mean? These guys find some hustle, some
Exactly.
marketing. But yeah, it's working because you're literally like the third or fourth person this week to tell me, yo, I just watched the new Halloween. Even yesterday, I texted this client from New York and I was like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm watching Halloween with my girl right now. I'm like, okay, everyone's going to see Halloween. I heard that James Bond movie's good too. I don't know. But that's another like sequel.
Yeah.
Like it's like everything in the theater right now is probably a sequel or a remake.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm actually watching a lot of TV shows right now. I'm watching
TV's killing it.
like Raising Kanan.
Oh yeah, is that dope?
Very dope show. Very
Wow.
dope show. I don't know if you've seen Power at all.
I actually haven't, and I really want to.
Look, it has correlation to Power.
Yes.
Because everything, this is like going back 30 years.
Right.
So watch it. It's very good.
I'm gonna
But
watch
there's this other show that I stumbled upon.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know how the fuck I found it.
Right?
It's called Kin.
Kin. I don't
Kin.
know that one.
It takes place in Dublin, Ireland.
Wow.
And it's about these a family of drug traffickers, basically.
Really?
Like real fucking.
I like this
Conor McGregor type dudes.
No
you know
way,
what I mean?
some
Like
serious dude.
you fucking stupid and
no
yeah,
way.
very
What?
good.
Kin.
Cinematography, very fucking nice.
Excellent.
Actors are amazing in it.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure you've seen The Wire.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
just rewatched it, like the whole thing this year, because I've seen it before. Rewatched the whole thing. Masterpiece. Like,
You remember I think it was Mayor Carcetti.
yes.
He's in it. He's
he's
like
sick.
he's like the main dude. He's like the
What?
main dude that's
Oh, yeah,
like
because he's
smart.
Irish.
I don't know what he
Is
is.
he Irish?
He's,
Yeah.
I think he's British or Irish, but I'm pretty sure he might be Irish.
I remember
You
he
might be
was in
right.
Game of Thrones too. Yeah.
So this dude, he's Lord Baelish.
yeah, Lord Baelish. He's Lord
Forgot
Baelish.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's fucking good.
He's great.
He's
great,
good, dude.
Great.
I'm watching this thing. It's very the music that they're getting me like all stressed out,
Wow.
seeing what's gonna happen. This guy's a snitch right now. Are they
No
gonna
way.
find out he's a snitch? And
No way.
watch
yeah,
it. You're gonna
music
love
is
it, dude.
key.
You're gonna love
Music.
it.
I'm gonna check that out. That's actually dope.
Yeah.
I like that they're doing all these international projects. It's smart too, because then each country is now getting their own kind of like viewership that they want to call their own, like they're, you know what I mean? But yeah, I love it, man. I love all the I really do like what Netflix and these streaming services are doing, just because they're at least keeping original ideas alive.
Yeah.
And TV shows in general are killing it because they put a little more time into their character development and things like that.
Yeah, I'd rather watch 10 episodes, really like know more about this dude
Exactly.
and feel for this dude when he eventually gets killed in the 5th episode or something.
Wow.
As opposed to a movie, which
Yes.
I saw, I think the new Saints in New York.
Was that good?
That was garbage.
Garbage, right?
Garbage. I was like, I paused it halfway. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here?
You know what? Exactly.
What am I
it's the
watching here?
same thing. It's
You know
like
what I mean?
they're trying to capitalize off a
The
hit.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Everyone's talking about it for years, and I was down to see it. I love The Sopranos.
I was hyped, dude.
I watched the trailer and I said, okay, it looks okay. I wasn't like, holy shit, this looks amazing. I was like, it looks good. I would watch it, but I've been hearing some negative feedback from a lot of people.
Look, I think in the trailer, all the scenes you see Michael Gandolfini.
Yeah.
I think all the scenes you see him in the trailer, that's all the scenes you see him in the movie.
Wow.
The guy's in it for like 10 minutes.
No way.
He's like, his role in that movie is like fucking tiny. Like there's no
Wow.
point in that role. And even the main story, the main plot is just like it felt like it was put together in a week.
Wow.
And the story just doesn't make sense for me as a guy that's fucking watched this
Yes.
show back to back. I think twice, 3 times. Like I've seen all the episodes.
It's like, yo,
And I'm reading stuff. I'm like seeing stuff that they're saying, and I'm like, dude, that's not what. I remember in season 3 or something.
Yeah.
he called his father a junkie.
wow.
And stuff like that didn't make sense.
Didn't
to me.
make sense.
Yeah, and
Huh.
the acting, I didn't like the acting. It felt like bad replicas.
I feel like it was just done for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it was done more for the money than it was for telling a great story.
I think so too.
Yes.
Apparently, there might be a continuation to this that focuses more on Tony Soprano's character.
Right.
I don't believe that's going to happen,
Right.
but whatever helps people sleep at night.
Yeah, well, it all depends on how much of a box office success it was. Was it? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it
I don't
did
think
that
it was
well.
that big.
There's no way it could have done that well,
It
especially
couldn't
in
have.
today's
It's already
climate.
kind of like came and went, it
Yeah.
seems. I don't know.
If you read the reviews, it's like a bad HBO movie. They're going,
wow.
yeah. Yeah,
Damn.
the acting is very subpar. The soundtrack was just like
Terrible.
it's like it doesn't remind you of that era. You know what
It
I
doesn't
mean?
remind you. Wow.
They're just choosing wrong stuff for it. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Huh.
Besides that, there was one other. Was it a series that I saw? I'm not sure. It was
So out of all, okay, so these are all new movies and stuff, but like what is like some of your favorites period of all time?
I think my favorite period has to be early 90s, maybe.
Okay.
Late 80s, early 90s.
I love that too.
Right when we had favorite movies, I'll throw them out there. True Romance.
Oh
One of
my
my
God.
favorites. One of my
Amazing.
favorites,
James
bro.
Gandolfini's in that
Yeah,
too.
fucking that bathroom scene.
Yeah, man. That movie is just wow.
So
Wow.
that one of my favorites. Samuel Jackson's small role at the
Small
beginning,
role.
getting popped. What's his name was Gary Oldman. Dude, Gary Oldman. What a
As
transformation.
Drexel the pimp. Yo, dude, that guy is just
Clarence?
amazing. Yeah, that guy was
Man.
sick, man, with the dreads.
Yeah.
And in that period, he did that. He did that movie, The Professional, and he did what's it called, Dracula. Like, bro, that guy's like the craziest actor. Like transformations like no other. It's
Yeah.
just like wow.
So that around that time, what else? Scarface was classic. You know what I mean? It wasn't the greatest.
Wow,
because
I'm
there's-
glad you say that because I kind of agree,
Yeah.
and not a lot of people in hip hop would agree because it's kind of a hip hop movie. But yes, I agree, it's not on par with some of the other crime films.
Carlito's Way. That
You love that one,
I
eh?
love that
I have
one.
mixed
It
opinions
had a
about it.
story for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did have a story, but there was certain things Carlito did that I'm like, would you really do that? I don't know, but
Yeah, like, look, dude, there's no way you're that trustworthy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get on a boat with fucking
true,
a
it's
shifty
true.
ass fucking lawyer.
what do you think of Goodfellas?
Goodfellas, I like that.
That's
movie.
like
It's-
my
it's-
favorite,
it's a
bro.
great movie.
I love that movie, man.
I think that was the first gangster movie that I actually got to watch.
Yes.
My friend's brother
Wow.
gave us that tape. He's like, here, watch it, Goodfellas.
So Joe Pesci, like wow.
And it taught me a lot of lessons.
And in yes, and in general, Scorsese, man, that guy is just like he's had such a killer career. You know what I mean? Like from the 70s till now, and he's still going. Like that's a solid director. You know what I mean?
Did you see the new one that
Yeah, The Irishman. So
Irishman.
yeah, it was like it's definitely not his best. But you know, when I watched the movie, I kind of just like it was slow. You know, it was kind of slow paced. But I think what I got out of it was just more like since this guy's in his 70s, it felt like he was just doing a movie more for his age range. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, if you were like 70, you might probably relate to that movie more than somebody that was younger. You
could
know?
be. But all I know is that it's been, I think, around a year that movie, maybe
Yeah,
2 years
yeah.
that's come out.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what the fuck
I
happened
know.
in that movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. One thing I did really admire was the visual effects, how they de-aged
De-aged.
them. I was like, yo, that is so ahead of its time. And it was ballsy for Netflix to invest that kind of money because it was like $200 million. And like that movie, if it came out in theaters, I don't think it would recoup its money because it's like 4 hours. It's slow. It wouldn't have been a major hit, but yet Netflix dropped the money, that kind of money. So I was just kind of like, wow, you know what? At least you guys are supporting the artist. But I'm with you. Like out of Scorsese's catalog, it's definitely not in my top by any means.
I agree with you on the de-aging thing. It was very cool to see how much younger they made them look.
Yeah.
But you can't change the mannerisms.
You can't change the
Like, remember
manners.
when he's kicking
That's
the guy's
true.
head?
Yeah, that's
It
true.
looks like an old man.
It looks like an old man. No, you're right. You're right. No, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it was an interesting project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, the whole thing. But like, yeah, you know what? He's still doing it. And he's a Wolf of Wall Street, though.
That guy is a legend.
Legend.
And he's what motivates us to do what we do,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
For sure, man. I love the great directors, y'all. 100, man.
And you said something about Wolf of Wall Street. I forgot we were getting to that.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that was another one. That was a recent one, like in the 2010s. And it's just like, it's one of those examples where, like, because serious thing about some directors, they might have a good decade and then they start to go downhill. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to see that the guy was killing it in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, then like Wolf of Wall Street, because that movie like blew, still killing it. And that's always impressive. You know what I mean?
another thing that I don't think people realize, like we're gonna start cutting it short soon because I think this is the longest interview we've ever had on this
no
fucking
doubt.
podcast. We went on for a long time.
Once you get us start talking about movies, forget about it. It'll go forever.
Where were we right now? We were at.
You were gonna say, oh man, I forgot now. I was talking about the decades.
Oh yes, exactly. I don't think a lot of people realize it. That look how many movies Tarantino has done.
I know.
It's not that many. You
Not
know what I mean?
9. It was 9 movies.
He's gonna finish at 10.
He's gonna finish at 10.
It might be Kill Bill as well.
I heard that. You know what's funny? He apparently there's speculation it might be fucking a Star Trek movie.
Wow.
Because you know what? I thought about it. I'm like, why would he do a Star Trek movie?
I can't see Spock with Jerry curls.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, and I thought about it, like, why would he do Star Trek? And I'll tell you, this is my theory is two things. Number one, I seen in a list a long time ago, he said Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan's one of his favorite movies of all time. Mm-hmm. But the main reason why I think he wants to do it is if the guy's only going to do 10 movies, he wants to do something he hasn't done. And one thing he hasn't done is done like any movies that were A, sci-fi, but B, crazy visual effects.
True.
That's not his style. So I figure maybe that's his reason. I feel like because he's like done, you know, drama, he's done action, he's done fucking horror. I think maybe in his head, he's like, yo, I want to do a sci-fi. Because that's what I like too. Like if you think about Scorsese, you know, this guy did all these movies and then he had a period where he did Shutter Island.
True.
And he said his reason for doing it was because he never did a horror. He's like, I want to do a horror. And then he made this movie called Hugo, which was a kid's movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with
it's like the little kid and like
a big monster or something.
Yeah, exactly. And basically he's like, my wife told me, yo, how come you never make a movie your kids can watch? So I was kind of like, that's cool because it's like he's done so much. He decides to do a horror. He decides to do a kids movie just to like break out of his element. Mm-hmm. But who knows what Tarantino's going to do. But one thing I do know is it's probably going to be super dope. The likeliness of it not being good is pretty slim.
All I have to be thankful for, though, that he's been entertaining us all these years.
Yep.
Always putting out fucking quality movies, like fucking
Amazing.
Exceptional work, you know what I mean? And it's paved the way for a lot of the stuff that we've, like you mentioned earlier, we wanted to do that Pulp Fiction scene.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing
still relevant.
It's still relevant today. It's still in culture, you know what I mean?
Still relevant, still in culture.
Dope.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Amazing, man.
We're coming to that time of the day that I hand you over this diamond, dude.
Okay.
This gem.
I like the looks of this gem. Thank you, sir.
So right now, I need you to bestow some knowledge to any upcoming filmmakers, rappers, any field that you partake in.
Right.
What can they do to get to the level that you've achieved? Any tips, bro?
All right. So, I mean, really at the end of the day, the main tip that I can give to any artist, as I like to use the term, because whether you're director, actor, or musician, any artist is just do it. Because at the end of the day, anything that you think is just a dream is only a dream till it's reality. So all you got to do is just do it. And most importantly is if you fail, so what? Just keep it moving. Don't let failure stop you because nobody kills it their first time. You got to fall to get back up, follow your dreams, and just do it. You know what I'm saying? And stay blessed.
That's a fucking dope gem right there.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Very inspirational. Like I mentioned earlier, watching your work and stuff inspired me to do certain things.
Thank you.
So it's great sitting with you at this table.
It's great sitting with you, and I love what you showed me.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my man.
We're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Before we finish up,
yeah.
Where can the people find Real Wolf? Where can the people find Tom?
Okay, so my Instagram is at Real Wolf Pro, and keep in mind it's real REEL. You know, like a film reel. So at Real Wolf Pro. YouTube is youtube.com/RealWolfFilms. And facebook.com/RealWolfProductions, or our website, realwolf.com. But in general, you can just Google it. Real Wolf, REEL space WOLF. Thank you.
Shouldn't be hard to find. Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of the Hustle Podcast. Salute. Welcome, everybody.
Y'all ready for this?
The Hustle. My name is Steve Armopoulos, and these are my co-hosts.
And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have
Terrence Howard, hustle with flow. Rain, sleep, or snow, the odds against me for sure. I kick down them doors when they close. A sharpshooter of motivation that leave bullet holes.